mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard.
What's up, and welcome to another exciting adventure of the Ride the Rebellion podcast. I am Drew. I'm your host today. Well, I'm not. I'm one of your hosts today. And with me, as always, is the king of the South Alabama Turndown, and the man who can't put his phone down.
I was handling some business.
Handling some business for his brand of products called Dale Boyd's Sweet Management. Sweet. Dale Boyd.
What's up, party people? You guys
and
spilling
if you
beers
look at
out
the
there?
reflection, you can get Justina working.
Oh, that's good.
Wave, Justina.
So awkward.
It's awkward. It's weird. Welcome to the show. Good to have you back. Welcome back to the studio from our heyday up in
Woo.
the Behams.
I'm still reeling from that. And we
How was
didn't
it?
go fishing. I'm reeling.
That was kind of an interesting weekend. I reached out to a potential sponsor and legitimately reached out to Limit.
Oh, yeah.
I told him, I was like, listen, that saved my ride up there. Like, legit, that stuff's amazing. Not just because I'm doing the keto thing, but it legitimately is my favorite of the any of those electrolyte type drinks because it works.
Right.
It's really good, but it's also fantastic post hangover, like legitimately good post hangover. So I told him that. I told him that straight up. I was like, and even after ride too many beers, Limit was clutch the next day. So it works.
I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm not.
Yeah, Dale Boyd.
I'm just trying to do
management.
some business over here.
Yeah.
Some Samba business for once. It's new.
You had to wait till the middle of the podcast?
Yeah. Well, the beginning. I mean,
Either way.
I'm just a razzle-dazzled.
You spilled a beer earlier, and I think it is just it's just derailed the Boyd train.
It has. It just makes me go into a tailspin. It's been a day, man. Did you know the banks don't notarize things that you want notarized?
I thought they did.
No, apparently they pick and choose what they want to notarize, and I'm still a little bit mad about this.
Oh, because you sold your vehicle.
Yes, I'm just done with them.
Okay, well.
But it's been a bright, beaming, better than average day.
Well, you seem awfully shiny in that brand new shirt there.
That's right.
Here
Check
to
it
talk
out.
about it?
Woo. Yeah.
Here
Hey,
it is again. Go ahead, pitch.
So last time we did the Reb Ninja-ish shirt. And
The Mutant is what we should have called it.
it is a mutant.
Yeah, the Red Mutant edition.
So this time we're dropping this one. This is let's call this one the Slasher. I don't know. It's slashy.
It's slashy. I don't know. It's kind of shiny.
Shiny, slashy. It's black and silver for those that are not.
Are they going to be able to get silver?
They can get silver. That's right.
How are you going to do silver?
Yeah, we can do silver.
Okay. All right. This is fancy. This might be a real one-off here.
Yeah. Like if I only make 10 of them, I'm
Yeah.
going to.
It's like, well, we looked at the cost on these and we can only make 10 ever. Well, I mean, that's the reality of this situation anyway.
These are made out of crushed dimes.
That came from train tracks that we both jumped over.
Oh, okay. I am a dime. And this shirt can be yours.
Yeah,
on the Ride the Rebellion podcast group that you have to go to the podcast group and say that you want one.
Yeah, so last week, so if you guys don't remember how this works, the way this works is you join the secret group on Facebook.
Secret's
There's
not
a
that hard to
waffle
Right.
for the shirt. So you buy a shirt for $30. Is that what we're selling them for?
Yes.
Yeah, so for $30, you buy a shirt. It's a limited edition shirt. There's only 10 of these shirts ever in existence. We will not reprint. We may reprint the shirt, but it'll never be the same color scheme again. So you get one of those shirts, and then you're put into a waffle, at which point you may win your money back plus the shirt. So last time we did it, Eric Hagan, world famous Eric Hagan, who I got to experience for the first time in full this weekend, and he is a delightful human being. I don't know if the world can fully understand how delightful, because he's obnoxious as hell. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, the delights are extremely pleasant. What a great guy.
No, his obnoxiousness is a pleasant obnoxiousness.
It is.
Like
It's
my
very much.
obnoxiousness isn't always pleasant. There's a difference. It's like
That is also true.
there's less ego involved with his obnoxiousness.
Yeah, that's facts.
There you go.
He's a good guy, and that was a
right.
great thing. So Eric won, so he got his money back plus whatever, $50. What is it?
Yeah. So he got $50. I
He got
Venmoed him
$50,
$50 back. And he's getting a shirt.
Right. So he basically got a shirt and money back.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing our shirts to make it totally different. All the proceeds from the shirts go to help keep us open because we have to pay for things to travel for trips. But on top of it all, we also have to pay for things like all this stuff has to come out of somewhere. We got websites and other things we got to deal with. Anyways, that's where we're at. So if you like that shirt, there it is again. Whoop. You can head over to the private Facebook group. All you got to do is search
Ride the Rebellion Podcast
on Facebook and look for the group, and there'll be a little lock symbol. And that lock symbol means that you're not cool enough until we say you are.
That's right. And
join it.
Some people may not be in it. I don't know who those people are, but
yeah, the people that haven't signed up yet.
Yeah, right. Everybody's like, wait, what group?
Yeah, and there's only 10 shirts. There is no exception.
No, right.
There's actually
10.
11 shirts because Dale always has one.
That's right. So we do this. This is the only time we'll ever do silver and black.
Right.
Because we can't afford all the other dimes that have to be crushed to make it.
That's correct, to make that. So yeah, if you haven't, head over there and you can check it out. Also, just to give a shout out to our sponsors, we've had a lot of good times. Riding, we were in Birmingham for Bump and Grind. We'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, we have a really awesome interview today with Scott Vickery from Fox, which is exciting. It's a very obnoxious interview.
That's right.
Not because of Scott.
Not at all.
But that place got a little rowdy. And maybe we'll just toss in some weird Kevin and Chase stuff just for posterity.
Woo.
It's just weird.
It all went off the rails, and there was like so many combinations. We can talk about those in a minute.
Yeah, there's a lot of different pieces.
Stay tuned for the dramatic.
So you're gonna want to see this and hear it. You really want to watch it,
right?
Because there's a lot of stuff in the background happening that
it's just
is not going to come through on the audio, right?
There, it basically was a beta test for our live podcast.
Yeah,
and the beta died. It was the first beta fish to ever die in captivity.
And they're impossible to kill, and we sure as hell killed that
killed
one.
It.
I mean, it was just
we killed it,
fucking murdered.
Yeah, right.
I've been doing this other podcast where we try not to cuss, so I've been like trying to be good, and then I was like, oh, I can drop F-bombs on this, so I just went straight in for it.
So I sold my Jeep to these folks. This is another tangent. This is whatever. So I sold it to them, and they were telling me they're very, very religious, and then they said, like, you're really into mountain biking, huh? I was like, yeah, I even have a podcast, of course. Why wouldn't I? They're 85. Why wouldn't you? Shout out if you guys are listening.
85.
Maybe they had a 55th wedding anniversary.
Oh,
so happy
good.
anniversary.
Damn, good for them.
Yeah, congratulations. If you guys are listening. But I said, so just a little heads up, I do cuss a little bit on there. My mom yells at me for it. So
yeah,
if you guys listen, don't taint my image.
We made it for the first. You could have told this story at the beginning, so it would have saved the cuss words for at least 20 minutes in.
No, that wouldn't be ours.
That's fair.
Yeah. Well.
So, with that said, it was riding Beeham is always tricky. Not ride Beeham, sorry. Riding in Birmingham is always tricky for me. I think it's fair to say us, the group of people that was with us. We don't have a lot of rocks. We don't have a lot of like the long downhill things that you do. We were very blessed to have Chase shuttle us a little bit. So we got to be shuttled around. So it made it a little bit easier. Everybody had that. We'll talk about the layout of that event. It was pretty fun. Anyway, point being, again, I crashed a bunch on my own, of my own volition this time. But where I didn't crash was on my caffeine load. I had plenty of Lucky Shot coffee to keep me going the entire weekend long. Huh?
That was a good one.
You thought I was going to go to Dirt Coaster, didn't you?
No, I didn't, because I knew where you were going with the caffeine thing. The crash is too obvious.
No.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe I just know you. I knew where you were going with it.
But go ahead.
I mean, I had fun hanging out this whole weekend, and we even got to see another side of our good friend Kevin Black with his shirt off, and he showed us all of his Man of War tattoo options.
Those are not his, though.
I know, but
I was thinking about this.
How could he tattoo his back? Hey, those are awesome tattoos you did on your back, Kevin.
He's got like a stick, and he's like, "Meow." It's just a bunch of lines.
Look at all that work.
Kevin like Black, I think we could raise money. If we will donate some to charity and then some to the medical bills. If you will let us stick a tattoo gun on a stick and you attempt to tattoo your back through a mirror.
Oh my gosh.
That'd go viral. We can make a little money off the virality. Man of War tattoo is the only place that you can get. The tattoo owner's so good that he tattooed himself through
a back scrubber tattoo.
And it doesn't even look janky. It looks legit.
Oh my goodness.
No?
I don't know. That sounds bad. I thought I was waiting for you to go like, hey, everybody who donate money will pay for somebody to get a tattoo on them.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fun. We get to choose. We get a spinning wheel. You have options.
Ooh,
This Man of War spinning wheel.
that'd be kind of fun.
It would be super fun. They're
Yeah,
not
but
like,
one of them is going to be the biggest triangle, and it's going to say tramp stamp.
ooh, but you can get them anywhere you want on your body. So there's always
What is
the
it on
top
a
of the
dude?
thigh.
What is a tramp stamp on a dude? A dump hump?
Well, so my friend Scott, and I hope you're listening, Scott, but you're not. So I'm going to tell the story anyway. When we were in college, he went on spring break, and he drew this super cool thing he wanted to get, but he wanted it tattooed right below his belly button.
Oh, no.
And so the whole time the tattoo artist was doing it, he was like, God, I hope this doesn't become a trend. And I was like, why did he say that? He's like, well, technically his arm was laying on my dick the whole time.
Oh, my God.
So I was like, yeah, well, whenever the tattoo artist says that, you should probably just get up and be like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't get this tattoo.
Mm-mm. Yeah, he's trying to save you from a lifetime of regret.
That's right.
No regrets is the tattoo I would actually get. No regrets. Like
that
on
tattoo
purpose.
actually probably started out at like 3 inches, but he's probably super fat now, so it's probably like a 10-inch across his belly. So there's that.
Yeah.
Paid for 3, got 10.
Yeah.
Not ever.
I'd get something
no
stupid.
woman ever said that.
It would be, it sounded better. That's all. I just want something on me that said it sounded better. People are like, what are you talking about? Just anything.
Right.
I had a whole conversation about, this is totally male. I had a whole conversation with my buddy today. He had severe kidney stones.
Ooh.
And I made a joke about something, which I won't repeat. Actually, I remember now. But then he goes, dude, my pee stream is much stronger now
Oh,
than my
wow. He
kidney
got the
stones are
blockage
gone. I
out
was like,
there.
oh, he got the blockage out. I was like, do you ever like stand in the bathroom and just evaluate other pee streams, holding it in to be like releasing the dragon?
He's now the swords champion of the world.
Yeah, he's the king. He was like, no, I don't do that. But,
Also, we can have these conversations because our demographic says.
oh, yeah, our demographic is...
Sorry, Carrie, because I know you're the one female listening.
Yeah, well, no, 12%.
Okay, 12.
We have 12.5 actually right now.
Sorry, ladies.
Every time we have a young lady on,
Apologies.
person in that space, we end up with a 0.5 percentile upgrade.
Ooh, Justina,
So
bring
Justina
us
gave us
to
a bump up
to the top.
in the lady bits. No, when you were actually on the show, you gave us a bump up.
Hey, your show was virally popular.
Yeah, it did very well. People
It was
liked
good.
it. Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of virally popular, if you haven't headed over to dirtcoasteracademy.com, you should. I don't know how to go with that one. I was just reaching for it.
Hey, they had a big event.
They did. They had a huge event over in Bogue Chitto, and it seemed like a lot of good times. They had these kids there that do backflips. Always fun to see kids do backflips on bikes.
Hell yeah.
I got to talk about when we get to this spot. There was something that happened in Birmingham in a short track XC race that, excuse me, it's actually burned into my brain of that I'll just tell a story. This kid in the start of a race, we're by the podium for the enduro stuff, and they start the short track, and you just hear pom 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 pom, and you like I saw it happen because I always want to see the race take off, and it was just a pile up, and this kid fell. I don't know what he fell onto, but he blew his teeth out. So his entire row of front teeth was blown out into the pavement. There's blood going everywhere. Kevin Black nearly squashes the guy's head last minute, like I think bunny hops to the left to dodge the kid's head. It's horrific. And that's bad enough. But for me, what really got to me is when I was walking back later on it was like an hour that they had him just on the ground and paramedics show up and all that stuff. And then it's his dad. And this kid was a fairly big kid, right? But his dad is just sitting there cradling him like a baby. And it was just gut wrenching. Just the idea of being, as a parent seeing that stuff, it was just like, and I had to walk away. But it's burned in my brain. Like that travesty. The kid's okay. Turns out they were able to plug all those teeth back in.
Somebody said he raced on Sunday. Is that
No
true?
way.
Somebody said he raced the XC race.
I don't know,
on
Chase.
Sunday.
You're gonna have to put that in the comments.
Yeah,
Did he
please
race
let
the
us
XC?
know.
You got to confirm that.
Yeah, because Kevin tried telling me he raced on Sunday.
I don't know if I trust Kevin Black's.
He had a lot of racing on. He had a.
I think he was probably delirious.
I trust Kevin Black to put permanent things on my body, but I don't know.
But I don't trust him with race results. Kevin Black's race result. That sounds terrible. Kevin Black. I will not repeat that sentence.
There's no more black dick jokes on this
Nope,
one.
we can't do it. No, this one actually. Yeah, it was maybe worse. It was cancelable. Not on purpose though. It just was putting words together that probably shouldn't be together.
Okay. Well,
We've gone down this road before.
mhm.
Yeah. So that series that was horrific, and it was scary, and it was sad, and it was not something I want to ever deal with again.
I'm glad
I will
didn't see
say,
it. I'm
to
glad.
shout out, not related to this, not a good segue, but straight up and down. I did wear a pair of Topos that I bought from Aaron at Run and Try, and those were the best. That was, well, after I changed my bike shoes, because we unfortunately wore that stupid shit climbing up and down the mountains. If you guys haven't seen the video, we'll talk about that in a minute too. But like,
Oh my.
once I put my Topos on, it was like walking on clouds again. Because
Yeah.
if you haven't worn those, they're like outdoory, great hiking shoes with the.
Hey, Stretch, you can get him up there. Come on.
I can't get them up there.
He's got them on, but he'd pull a muscle if he showed you.
But they have the feeling of Hokas. Like they feel solid like Hokas. So if you haven't checked them out, you can get them. He has some. He needs to get some more. I went by the other day to buy some, but you have some. He also had a sale going where there's a bunch of shoes like $75, and there's some good deals inside of that, like brand new shoes. Like I got some Ultras and stuff, and good stuff. Anyway, if you haven't, check out Run and Try.
Does he carry the stuff you were talking about?
I don't know if he has limit or not.
I bet he does. If he doesn't, he should.
Yeah, it's good, dude.
I'll tell him.
I'm gonna make Justina try. We're gonna ride later. I was gonna try this. Although there's a chocolate one, I did have a spicy mango limit. It was legit good.
Really?
Dude, I would mix alcohol with it. It was so good. And it burned, it like literally burned the back of my throat. The chili was so good. It was really good.
Wow.
Not something I probably want on a bike.
No, like
Yeah. Because your throat's burning, but it was actually pretty solid.
yeah. I did not have comfortable shoes on.
No.
To conversely, and I did not take limit.
Right.
I had my bike shoes on, and I had like bloody blisters on my heels from
I didn't
walking.
know that. That sucks.
Yeah, it was bad. And then I kept trying to like pull my sock up because I forgot to put my riding socks on for the day we weren't riding. So I kept trying to pull my sock up when I was filming that.
You went for fashion, didn't you?
No, I went for I'm hurrying up to get over here, and I was on my bike a lot.
It was a long day. It was a long, long day.
No, the Friday night was longer, but Friday itself.
Friday was a long day too. That was a lot of riding.
Oh man, 19 miles.
Yeah. It was a lot for us.
Yeah.
For us low elevation boys. A couple things happened. If you guys didn't see, we fun stuff, and we'll just jump over to it. So Bump and Grind was a fantastic, I would say, a huge success. Granted, they had some issues. We heard some stupid people bitching about it. No reason. Shit happens. Get over it. If you're a real athlete, you just process through it and keep going. I get it, though. I get the frustration. In fairness, I do understand it. But no reason to, like, tear everybody down over it. That's dumb as fuck, man.
I know.
That's
It's
just
so
lame.
stupid. Like, who cares? No one. It's like winning a travel ball baseball medal.
Right.
Like,
Careful.
Who cares?
Half our audience is travel ball dads.
Please, if you guys are travel ball dads, get out of here. But it's like I always say this, and literally I race, and no one cares where I finish except for my wife, and she doesn't know how to read. So
Oh, no.
I'm good. I can tell her I got first. She don't
that's-
know.
Not acceptable.
We haven't done a Burn Casey for a while. She
have
gets
not burned-
disappointed.
That all of this sounds horrific. Burn Casey?
She's got fair skin. Just put her in the sun.
Oh my God. Dear Casey, I'm very sorry that your husband has made me become such a villain on our own show.
Oh, no. I've been villainified for 12 or so years, however we've been married.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so Bump and Grind worked. It was fun. We had a good time with it. I will say that the riding up there at Oak Mountain, the more that we've gotten to ride it, we still haven't ridden everything. Because every time we go, Dirty Uncle Chase takes us down the old beat 'em up trails, and they're fantastic.
Dirty Uncle
I'd never
Chase.
ridden Thunder, and I got to be honest with you, that's one of the funnest trails I've been on in a long time. It was a lot of fun, and then it just flows right into Lightning or Tails, your choice. Equally fun. What a great string to run together. So that's super fun. Jekyll and Hyde's okay. It's not my faves, but it was fun. It was hard. It was fun. I chopped my nuts off on that one pretty bad. I like just straight crushed them. But we had a good time riding some of that stuff, right? But we still haven't even ridden any of the like the pedally stuff.
Slingshot or Johnson Mountain or any of that. We haven't ridden it.
Right. So we have to go back up again
Darn.
and put in some time. Yeah.
I'm in.
Darn, it's so great up. It's so relaxing. I just really enjoy the environment up there a lot. I think they have something very, very, very special. That's super unique to them that I hope more people, it sounds like a commercial for it, but it legitimately is. So having a race there is super fun. I got to say the enduro stuff was fun, but as a spectator, because we were filming this, by the way, the entire time. So we shot all day Saturday. You can see the video over on our YouTube channel, or you're already on YouTube listening to this. You can also see it on Facebooks, on the Books of Face. And then eventually someone requested for me to upload it as a reel. I just have to do it, or Dale will do it. One of us will figure it out. But you can watch the video. It's a lot of fun, a lot of good coverage. We call it a mixtape. That's kind of our new style of putting out content. We're calling them mixtapes. Anyway, we filmed a lot of stuff. But as a spectator and a camera guy, so there was great shots we got from the Enduro. But as a spectator, I got to be honest with you, Short Track XC is fun as hell.
I know. As a spectator, it almost got like so repetitive. You're like, man, I can't keep filming this. But I almost want to just in case something happens.
Right.
And it's like, I hate who has to edit this, Drew, sorry. But I was like, how many times can I get the same shot over and over? But it was awesome. It
almost feels like it's a ticking time bomb. Like tension is rising each lap, and it's like, oh man. So I can only imagine like on the upper scale, like when you get some like real heavy hitters that are all in there and they're building up this moment to just unleash the beast. Yeah. I bet it's just out of control.
Well, that's what it's like. So if you've never seen a short track race, it almost feels like a 5K.
Yep.
So it's like 25 minutes of sprinting.
Yep.
And it's varied terrain, and there's some jumps that have options where you can jump or you can go around, slower going around, obviously. But the fans are all out. Everybody's cheering. And
it was great.
They've cheered they cheer so much in sections where they've cheered people into doing things they maybe shouldn't.
Yeah, we did see that.
And that happened, and it was crazy.
What's the young guy's name that showed up from Mobile who goes off a jump
Ben.
On that Klein bike from...
He did every lap. He didn't stop.
He jumped every single time?
Every single time. And he just kept jumping. And then after the race, he was super stoked. It was awesome because he's like, dude, I've never done anything like that before. Like the crowd.
Shout out to Ben, man.
That's awesome.
He committed.
He fully committed.
And that bike is definitely not modern hardware.
No.
It's very vintage.
No, and people were like giggling at it. And then he's the only one in his cat launching that thing. And it was like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And then his stoke level of having done it, just not because of his bike. I think he's like, he was dabbling in mountain biking, got into it a little bit more and was like, this bike is suitable for me. It was high end at one time, but now he was even talking about, I want to get a new bike because now I want to jump. It was like an addiction. So, but I think that he got to follow another local guy in. I think Kevin might have towed him into it.
Yeah, Kevin towed him in the first time.
Yeah, Kevin towed him in on a practice lap, and he decided to do it.
That's the thing that I walked away with the most. So like if we talk about the event in a whole, great time, good things. We saw lots of fun stuff. The community building, like again, wherever we go, we take community with us.
That's
and
right.
It doesn't matter where you are, who you are, we'll make you part of the community. That's just what we do. We'll even invade your community if we have to. Stupidly or smartly, that's how we roll. I did feel like the community, like we just had this amazing, lovely time. 90% of it I can't talk about on this podcast because the Todd was involved. The Todd made an appearance on the show and we decided to cut it. There's lots of things that happened.
Not because he did anything bad, but just because it was all bad at that point. It was rolling downhill.
Oh, it was
it's out of control.
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, it was really bad. But the Todd showed up. You put out a video with the Todd in it with him talking about
awesome.
the dirt bike. What are the mud things called?
The mud rocket blockers.
Mud rocket blockers, right.
The Jasper. So the cool thing about the Todd is we've talked about him so much on the podcast that he's so humble in this regard where people come up and they're like, hey, nice to meet you. And I'm like, this is the Todd. And they're like, oh, the Todd. And like he's like, seriously, guys, like, no, for real, you're a character at this point. So be the character, lean into it.
Yeah, the most requested, most asked about individuals, no offense to anyone, was Bug and the Todd. And I had a couple people say like, Jakey Poo make it? And I was like, he doesn't listen to the podcast, so he doesn't even know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, people legitimately ask about Bug because they knew that once they found out the Todd was there, like, where's Bug?
Yeah.
And so it's like, Jesus, we're going to take these guys on tour. What are we like Howard Stern with these?
Yeah. Well, Bug would love that because he is a Beetlejuice fan and he can be Beetlejuice.
Yes. And we just unleash them and be like, hey guys, the following part of the show is completely uncensored. We have no idea what's going to happen. They've been drinking since 2. And you just turn
Drew
them
and
loose.
I walk away.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah, we
Have
can't
fun.
be present for this.
No.
It's an
brand
unsanctioned podcast.
Our brand is not
horrific. But the community side of it wasn't just them. It was like hanging out with the Birmingham guys and gals and hanging out with like lots of different groups. The guys out of Montgomery, and I'm so sorry, I'm blanking.
Build Tune Ride.
Yeah, Build Tune Ride, and hang out with those guys. We traded. He had to one up me though, the owner, and I Jody, one up me like a real son bitch. I walk over and was like, hey man, here's a shirt or a hat or something. I gave him something, and I gave him a T-shirt is what it was. And that dude rolls back over with a jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he one-upped, like straight up one-upped me. It was great. But thank you for the jersey, Jody. I do appreciate it very much. And his team did really well. He had some really good riders.
Yeah,
it
he
was
has
fun
some
to
little
watch
rippers on the team.
Woo.
They're young and they like to shred, and it's crazy.
They're fast. There's
They
a
are
kid that
fast.
there's a clip in one of those. He goes by so fast through Blood Rock.
Mm-hmm.
It is unbelievable. Like, it is really impressive how fast he's going. He's probably the fastest guy I found.
It is
that footage.
What we did notice though while we were there, and I think we've already talked. You and I've talked about it at least, is like the youth movement in Birmingham
it's
is
amazing.
incredible. It's
amazing.
crazy. Like there's nobody our age hardly.
No.
It's all kids.
Yep.
And like I get frustrated. I bitch about all the kids all the time, but I think it's awesome that they're shredding.
Yeah.
They're not just out there like pedaling around just to finish.
The cool part was, though, it didn't ever feel. There was a couple of guys I met that were bumping egos, but for the most part, it never felt like it was an ego fest. It was more like, how can you stoke somebody else? Like, we're not out there riding, we're filming.
Right.
But the energy is just being passed around, and then the parents are there supporting their kids, and then you can't help but cheer for their kid, or I'd make sure to get a cool shot or whatever it might be. Eric Hagan, his son came down there and just, this kid's like wheeling everywhere and then jumping and hitting stuff that was great. Like, his kid, I think, placed second in his category, first race ever.
Oh, who? Eric doesn't have any kids.
Not Hagan. Sorry, other Eric.
Eric Wilson.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Sorry, Hagan.
I was
Eric,
maybe
you
got
have
kids.
Hey.
You got kids out there, Eric?
But Eric Wilson's kid, sorry. And his kid smashed it, like did really well. So it was fun to see. And then Eric did. But the champion of all champions for us
Yes.
is got to go out to our boy Justin, who ate shit, which you can see in the video. It was a pretty nasty crash. It doesn't look that bad, but when he got up, there was a lot of blood.
Mm-hmm.
He kept riding. He apparently crashed on every stage, by the way.
Yeah.
We found this out. And then not only did he crash on every stage, but he won Cat 3 in the younger person's category,
Yeah.
which I think is
19
really
to 39.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
Yeah, and the great thing about Justin is he's worked at his craft. Like he has worked it to get better. He rides by himself a lot. He goes and does things on his own, and I think it's awesome to see your hard work pay off.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what it was. And his excitement level it's awesome. I love it. I'd love that more than winning myself.
No, that just seeing that was so good.
I mean, I don't win very often.
But then he comes back and we're like, Justin, maybe you should go get that looked at. He goes over to Andrews, which, by the way, having free access to Andrews clinic is worth the price of bump anyway.
Right.
Just lie. Come with an ailment.
Yeah, I limped over like, hey guys, I know that I didn't race this weekend. Yeah.
I had that bump on my knee and the guy touched it. It's gone. Look.
It is gone.
It's like Jesus healing over there with Andrews. But point is, I'll pay the $100 fee.
Right.
Not race and get free. That's Chase is going to get so pissed at this.
You should probably race. Everybody should. We couldn't because we were filming.
Yeah, we were working.
I was a little worried about my thumb.
Yeah,
that was my excuse.
For me, I'd rather film it. Like, that's more fun for me.
It
I
was a
enjoy
lot of
racing, but to me, like, that's something that I can truly give back to the community and have a good time doing.
I forget. Somebody asked me. They're like, "Oh, so did you ride the enduro? Did you race the enduro?" I was like, "No." They're like, "Well, what are the trails too hard for you?" I was like, "No, we rode them on Friday. They're not too hard for me. It's just we had more fun filming. Honestly, I had fun like finding spots in the woods where you otherwise wouldn't get a video or something.
Yeah, I mean, that was the thing. Is I think, and we came up with unique angles that a lot of people haven't seen, and it was good. What I'd like to do, though, is jump in. Let's cut over to the Scott Vickery. Let's cut over to the Scott Vickery interview, whatever we were going to call this.
Yeah.
Let you guys hang out with that, and we'll be right back. So here is Scott. And just a reminder, if you have a chance to watch this, it's potentially worth watching.
That's
for
right.
the background antics.
Scott did so good keeping it shit together.
He kept it. Totally.
Because we're just like, we can see what's going on behind him, but he cannot.
And we're trying to not give, just
we're trying to like be.
You don't want to sour the interview on his side. So anyway, if you have a chance, watch it. But if not, here is Scott Vickery from Fox. Anyway, so Scott Vickery, you're VP of?
No, not VP.
You're a P and a director.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things we look at. I look at it from a company standpoint. I really don't get caught up in titles.
Sure.
Our performance vehicle development group. It's a small group. We're fortunate to have a bunch of people that are extremely talented, and we all chip in where we need to. And I'm thankful to be part of it. Thankful to be part of the organization, and it's a fun place to work. And that's again, I try not to get caught up in titles and who does what and why.
Yeah, sure.
yeah, we all just we do what we need to do.
So what do you guys actually do? I think one of the simplest questions, if nobody knows this, there's separation in the company, right? Somewhere there's a hat here. I don't have it, but there's a hat. But there's a separation in the company, and you have a tail and a head. Can you maybe talk about that? As dumb as that sounds, I don't think anybody.
No, I think that's a great question. I mean, if you look at the Fox logo, one has a head, one has a tail. You know, in the 70s, there was two brothers, Bob and Jeff Fox, that founded Fox.
Right.
One wanted apparel, one wanted to go more suspension, and they ended up. I mean, the legend is that they flipped a coin. One got heads, one got tails, and that's where the logos came from. So our side of the business, the suspension side of the business, is the tails side. So you'll see the Fox with the tail. And if you look at our company, it's pretty simple. You've got bike, power sports, automotive. If you want to look at kind of three verticals, we have it split between bike and powered vehicles. But if you really look, it's bike, power sports, automotive. You've got. That's kind of
and just a quick plug for Kevin Black of Man of War Tattoo, one of our sponsors, proud sponsor of the show. You knew what's going to happen on this episode.
No, there's
the best part about you being in the hot seat is that I don't know what's going to happen behind you at any
right.
given
No, that's what I was a little concerned about. All I knew is there was somebody approaching me from behind, and I didn't see Chase, and I was like, "Oh boy, what's going to happen?"
And you saw Todd, so you knew it wasn't going to be soaking with Todd.
Yeah.
I didn't ask that to happen.
It's awesome.
Anyway, bike, power sports, automotive.
Right.
You can buy a bike with Fox or upgrade. Power sports with Fox or upgrade. Automotive with Fox or upgrade. And then there's a whole other side of our business, the Performance Vehicle Development Group. And so what we've done is we went out and found, like, you look at it. We've got the shock side of it covered. We bought BDS, JKS, Ride Tech. We bought Method Wheels. And so instead of just putting a shock on a vehicle, now we can essentially design and engineer the entire suspension system. Whether it's lifted, lowered, whatever we do, we can go ahead and control the entire aspect of it from a safety, performance, comfortable. It makes such a difference.
Yeah.
And that's where our world is. So we take those and take a perfectly good vehicle, tear it apart, put our stuff underneath it, and make it better.
And that's the thing that's been fascinating is, behind you guys. If you haven't watched us on the YouTube side or on Spotify, we have the van back there. Maybe we'll get a little B-roll of it and make sure we can plug it in there just because it's so unique. That's like a full custom build whole scenario. When you guys go through and you look at a project like that, I mean, do you work with a company? Do you guys supply the parts? Do you turn them loose? Is it more like a vendor with supplier relationship, or how does that work?
No, it's basically all in-house. So we have 5 production facilities, one here in Trussville, Alabama, one in Franklin Springs, Georgia, Elkhart, Indiana, Fort Collins, Colorado, and Portland, Oregon. And so depending on the facility, we build different brands there. And it could be an OE brand, like we build Ford primarily at one facility or GM, whatever it may be. Or it could be like all of our Shelby trucks are built in our Elkhart, Indiana
They're
facility.
sick, by the way.
And they're insane.
They're so stupid.
We just had a launch last week of the new Centennial Edition. We're building 100 of them, 800 horsepower. I mean, it's just, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's an unbelievable truck. It was a fun project, and we had the launch last Friday at the Carlisle Ford Nationals. Fun stuff. But again, it depends on where and what brand, what we're building, where it's going. We've got, like our Black Widow trucks, we build them here in Trussville, but we also build them in Fort Collins. So if we're going to have a West Coast dealer from a freight standpoint, it's either to build them in Colorado and ship them, than build them in Alabama and have all the excess freight for essentially the same vehicle.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good looking stuff. I mean, for us, it's all drool stuff. It's a little bit out of my pay grade. So it's essentially, it's an extension of marketing, right? Because at the end of the day, like, to some extent, right? Is it not? I mean, you see it gets me hyped up. I get to, like in this case, which you can kind of see behind you, but you have like this nice setup. The factory's there. We can go suspension advising and the whole thing. But then the van being there, it just makes me want to jump in and do that stuff. Whether or not I have it, it just makes me feel good about
You know what's rad about it, though? It goes with what we've been preaching. It's about the community, right?
Right.
You can touch so many parts of the community with all of this. It's not even about that, though. Like, you're here to hang out with the people. You're not even here to push product, right? Today, like, that's not your goal.
No, I mean, we literally are here. We identified last year, we were talking about it. One of the questions that came up is, hey, can you help me adjust my suspension? I'm proficient with suspension, but I'm not like competent with like. And there's so many different variations. And so that was one of the questions that came out of last year's Bump and Grind is how do we bring in somebody from the bike side to help us, do that? Because let's face it, so many people go to their local bike shop, they buy a bike, they're like, hey, fantastic. I just got the bike of my dreams, shop set it set up right. They leave and now they're riding it and they're like, this thing doesn't feel any different than my old bike.
Yep.
And it's not because of the bike or the components or their suspension, it's because it's not set up for them.
Right.
I mean, what if you bought a $1,000 computer and you take it home and it doesn't work right? You're still going to keep using it if it doesn't work right or more efficiently. Like
you just think that it's slow, or you think that it doesn't process this or it doesn't do that.
But yeah, we're okay with like I twisted that thingy a couple times. Cool, it's fine.
Yeah, I think if I turn that knob enough, it'll do what I want to. But Drew, you brought up something just a second ago that I wanted to go back to. You were talking about like price range and components and packages and stuff like that, and I think that's one common misconception when you look at a vehicle, you're going to customize it. Say you buy a Jeep Wrangler,
right?
And you look at it and go, you know what? It's awesome Jeep, but I want to do a lift and I want to do wheels and I want to do tires. I'm going to put a winch on there and probably do some more accessories. The challenge is you could go to your local dealership, you could go to your local four-wheel drive shop or order stuff online and do all that stuff yourself, have somebody do it for you.
Right.
The challenge becomes, though, when you start thinking about technology today and safety equipment today, when you're talking about lane departure, collision avoidance, pedestrian sensors,
automatic braking,
automatic brake. I mean, there's so many things that are incorporated into vehicles today.
Yeah.
I'm not an engineer, but if you take a vehicle and your camera is pointed in a certain direction, if we do a lift kit on that vehicle, say you put a leveling kit, raise that front end 2 inches, where's that camera pointing now?
Right. That's
now
a good
you
point.
put a 6-inch lift on it. Where's the camera pointing?
Right.
And let's face it, if I wouldn't put my family in a vehicle that didn't have the safety equipment that it came from the factory.
Sure.
All of our vehicles, all of that is engineered into it. It's tested, it's validated, and it's certified. So when we take a vehicle, lift it, we have to send it to TRC labs. It goes through the same testing that a stock vehicle does on the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards.
Hey,
so like
fact,
rollover.
TRC is where I'm from. It's right next to Honda in Marysville, Ohio.
Absolutely. Yep.
And TRC is gigantic. And when you go in the gate, you have to turn your phone in, right? Do they still do that?
Yep.
You have to turn your phone in because there's so much high-tech and state-of-the-art stuff going on.
Crazy.
They have a huge track that has different lanes on it, and you have to be licensed to drive in the different lanes. They have an off-road track.
Is Corey Haim involved in any of that process?
Who?
He's dead. Corey Feldman?
Oh, yeah, maybe
You
not.
don't remember that movie, do you?
No.
You're too young for that.
Licensed, whatever. Is it Star Wars? But TRC is a huge place, right? Like we go there. Back in home, they have the new cars, but they're all black and white checkered, so that from the sky you can't see the contours and the lines.
The photo
like
doesn't
it's
work on
pretty
it.
crazy. TRC is legit. Ohio State has a lot of stuff going on there too.
100%. So I think that's one of the differences.
That's a good point.
So you look at that and then you go, but if you buy the Jeep, finance it at the dealership, then you got to go spend your cash to do all of those upgrades. The way our packages are set up, you literally buy that vehicle completely built. So it's a turnkey package. It's tested. You've got full warranty, all of your safety systems, all of that.
So does that count like OEM warranty? Does it go that far into
Absolutely.
it? Oh, that's
absolutely.
Cool.
So, if you think about it, there are certain things you can do to quote void the warranty on a vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't void the whole warranty. You'll hear people say, "Oh my God, you lifted your truck, your warranty's voided. You can't,
Right.
you can't do it." That's not the case. There are specific components. Like if you lift a truck and your radio goes out, they can't void the warranty on your radio.
Right.
But if your ball joints or your transmission or something, there could be a case that they say, hey, it could, that's going to be on us rather than on the OE. But we do provide a 3-year, 36,000 mile, matched warranty, just like the OE would. So from a consumer standpoint, they're comfortable. They know that they've got a quality product. It's been tested. It's been validated. All the safety systems are in place. Can buy it from their local dealership, service it at their local dealership, and know that their family's safe and secure in a badass looking truck that performs on road and off road.
Yeah, I didn't realize that's where you landed with it. Have you guys done anything? Have you thought about doing anything with the Lightning or any of that capacity? I have a client that does a lot of a lot of EV work.
Yep.
And so there's been talks, and this is not a trash on the battery, but they've talked back and forth. I've got inside baseball on that side. But have you guys looked at any of that kind of stuff of like exploring into that space?
We have. The interesting part about EV, and you start thinking about, there's certainly weight differences. And even if you look at the Jeep Wrangler, the standard Wrangler versus 4xe, more of a hybrid type situation, you can go all electric for like 30 miles. But there's very different weight issues. So from a spring capacity, from a suspension perspective, it does make a huge difference. Our biggest challenge with Lightning is just getting one. I
think that's everybody's
Oh,
problem.
absolutely. I mean, you look at it and go, I'd love to get a Lightning so we could do R&D. But the problem is we can't get a Lightning to do R&D on it.
Right.
So a lot of fun projects out there. If you start thinking about performance, the days of V8s supercharged, I mean, it's getting tougher and tougher. I mean, with emissions and carb states and federal emissions and everything else, I mean, the OEs are under some pretty strict standards in terms of what they're going to deliver and how they have to deliver it. And so you're starting to see more fuel-efficient vehicles. I mean, there's going to be I think there's always going to be a demand for internal combustion, the whole ICE versus EV conversation.
100%.
It's always going to be there. But I think the challenge is how do we look at it? How do we address it? How do we work through those challenges? Whether it's, honestly, electric performance is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You start looking at the
100%.
torque and what they can do and how they deliver from a performance standpoint. Electric is amazing, but there's something to be said for that V8 supercharged rumble.
I get it. I just think it's interesting at some point. Like everything else, as progression goes along, there's always going to be a spot for it. I'm not saying that. But I think the challenge is with anything else. So if something's at the curve or ahead of the curve, eventually, if somebody comes along and makes the curve cool, that's when the shift happens. So it's like if you guys are able to turn around and do something really crazy down the road, once you finally get one, and this Lightning rolls by that's just, foxed out and it's just rad as all get out, that's going to make a shift. You're going to see shifts change that way because there's a mentality, at least in the experience I've had, there's a mentality of like they hit the wall of ice, or hit the wall of an EV, and they're like, it's just not. But the reality of it is, both work. I'm not knocking them. There's a whole political issue that who cares? Let's talk about looks and that side, and then there's something completely different that comes out of it. I don't know.
There's another thing in our world: the e-bike versus analog bike.
It's the same.
It's like
game.
a bold argument. Everybody knocks it till you try it.
Right.
Right.
Well, Patio
It's-
Tools over there.
Yeah.
Rode an e-bike. Rode your e-bike today. As a
He
matter of
was
fact.
Jekyll and Hyde on Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah, he was straight
Literally.
up like, it was a big difference. I mean, that's a big shift in that side of things. There's a lot of like those components that come out, and we see that vibe of when we see something change. There's slow adoption. We have a guy that rode with us. If you've listened to podcasts, you know what I'm talking about. A guy named Jakey Poo was still on 26s, not because of it wasn't totally because of money. He just was anti. I mean, the guy was just anti anything
Well,
else.
he's anti anything post '94.
Fair enough.
It's true.
No, it's
no,
true.
he won't listen to any new Primus, new
but
clutch.
now though, the guy
Shit.
is like, he has a 29er, and now he sees it, and his
Yeah.
riding's better, and everything's shifted. Do you guys see that as progression of technology goes, you're seeing, obviously in your business side of things, but as everything goes, you see it keep growing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's just it's innovation.
Yeah.
It's how do we innovate? What's next? We're talking about like e-bike versus I found out last night I don't have an Amish bike. I thought I had an Amish bike. It's actually a Mennonite bike because I've got live valve on it. So I mean,
That's a new one.
like,
Yes.
I was sitting there, I'm like,
He's our gonna-
Shut up, they're making a podcast, Vaughn.
I was
No, now as a Mennonite bike, he's definitely going to be on Soaking with Todd.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, I was so disappointed. I was like, I've got my e-bike and my Amish bike. They're like, no, your bike has electric. Like it has live valve suspension on it. So
Right.
like it's a Mennonite bike. And I was shocked. I'm still recovering from that. But the point is technology. Like what's next? What's new? Where's
Right.
it going? Frankly, you look at electric today, or you look at mountain bikes today. The e-bike community. What is it? What's different? How is it working? There's new stuff every day.
Yeah.
And that's something I think we all look at and go, what is next? What's new? What do I need versus what's important?
Right.
Like what we on the last pod we talked about like how crazy it is that people are so like adverse to change. Like they hate it so bad, and that was just about trails. So like when you introduce technology in biking, people lose their minds. But then they touch it and
Or
it's
even
like
vehicles, though.
or vehicles, yeah,
even
vehicles.
I can imagine. Has there been excitement or any kind of like when you guys pick up somebody? Is there like when you buy someone? Is there this like curve where it's like, ew, we're mad and we're angry because the fans or whatever the fanboys of those particular, and then they level off and realize, wait a second, this was a good move because now we have more access? Or
No, I don't think so.
yeah,
From an acquisition standpoint, if you look at the company, I think they've all been very strategic acquisitions, and they all made sense. Our last acquisition was Custom Wheelhouse, the Method race wheel acquisition. Everybody looked at that and said it absolutely makes sense for Fox to acquire them. And you look at it, and I was not involved in the acquisition or anything like that, but you hear people talking about it, and it makes sense. And I think that's one of the things, if you look at our leadership team, as they look at items and companies and potential acquisitions, does it make sense for the Fox brand? And does it make sense? Did they bring something to the table that we don't have today?
right.
Like what's next? What's that next step? Is it innovation? Is it a product? Is it technology? Whatever it may be. I think that's the fun part, is watching how all of that comes together to take it to the next level.
Isn't it cool to see a company making strategic acquisitions?
You
That's
mean
an-
instead of just blanket acquisitions? Yeah.
Just buying up everything for no reason.
Yeah,
That's
we have
another joke. We'll tell you
it's
guys
an-
off
it's
the
a-
air.
Yeah, it's a client
can't-
situation.
Yeah, we can't talk.
We just
about
found
it.
out like a local brewery.
Okay.
I'm going for it.
Okay, go for it. Fuck.
A brewery we like is gone because they got gobbled up by potentially a conglomerate. And that conglomerate is, they're a VC basically. And so they're just gobbling up everything. And it's kind
And
of
they
like,
suck.
well, I didn't say that. I'm not going to that part because
I
I
don't-
take their money. I'm just saying, like in general, the challenge is
client.
like it's fun for us when you see something involved in the community that really cares. There's a huge difference.
That's right.
Which is my next point: is that the fact that you guys showed up to this, not our podcast. I mean this event.
Right.
No, he's postage right now. He has no choice.
He's postage.
He's actually tied to that chair.
But at the same time, you were at. Are you allowed to say? Was you allowed to say he was at Bull Gap?
yeah, he was at Bull Gap. We talked
Absolutely.
about it. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
He,
So
he
then you
got grilled
being
cheese,
at,
bro.
right, with you being at Bull Gap, those events, yes, they're Alabama, they're regional, they're these spots, but those events, they're very organic, they're very raw, they're very real in those moments. Why do you guys take the time?
Or why do you personally?
Yeah,
How about
you.
that?
How about that?
I guess what I would say there first, like I work for Fox.
Right.
Okay, I'm employed by Fox. But I think more importantly, I rode bikes from mid 80s to the early 90s. 85 to 93, I was on a mountain bike every day. Life, kids, work, all that stuff. I got off of bikes. I only got back into riding about 2 years ago.
Right.
And my wife and I ended up out here at Oak Mountain, and we parked in this parking lot, and we started meeting people, just kind of hanging out. And this group, this community is what kind of got us involved with Oak Mountain. Like,
Right.
hey, this is fun, good group of people.
He's referring to Bump, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uncle Chase.
But it really it gave us a place to come ride and see people that we knew, people that we had met before, people offering encouragement, hey, where'd you ride today or whatever. And so in the last couple of years, that community has kind of extended into, I noticed there was a gap. There was being primarily an automotive facility here in Trussville for Fox, we don't have a ton of mountain bike people. There's only
Right.
like 3 of us that ride mountain bikes at our group versus you guys met Gus that was here earlier from our Fletcher, North Carolina office. That entire office. I mean, when you pull in the parking lot, they have bike racks, bikes on there. They rode before work. They're going to ride at lunch. They're going to ride after work. And they ride like some of the greatest trails out there. But that's what they do every day. Where here, like we do automotive.
Right.
And there's a few people that ride bikes.
Right.
And so the question was like, Chase asked, hey, can Fox help us with this? Or do you know of any resources on that? And then when we launched our Trail Trust deal, that's where it really started kind of coming together. We had a need here locally from the park and the trail system. The Trail Trust, it's really our way to give back. Like, who's doing the right thing for the right reason? Who's getting people into the sport? Who's giving more? It really is about doing the right thing for the right reason. And so our Trail Trust group was able to look at the project, say that it fit within what we were trying to do, and provide the grant. And then you look at it today, fast forward. Tails was built. Tomorrow we're racing Tails.
Right.
That's what's awesome.
That is one of those things that you look at and go, just fun and cool to see the community. You know, I watched guys ride tails yesterday for the first time and got off it, and they said, that is a badass trail.
Right.
That's legit. That is one of the most fun trails that I've ridden. And Chase and I talked about that. It's like, hey, look, if we're going to work together on this, we want to have something fun. We want to have something unique. We want to have something memorable that people look at and go, that was fun. Like,
right.
And I think one of the most interesting things for me, if you ride tails, about a quarter of the way down, you're kind of coming down. You start to kind of sweep to the right, and you make a left. There's a tree there, and there's a rock that has a Fox logo painted on it.
I noticed it today.
And it's one of those things. It's organic. Actually, one of the ladies out here, Tammy, found a cool rock, painted it, and put it there.
Yeah,
she didn't take a picture of it. She didn't put it in the newspaper, but that was kind of her way of saying thank you.
Right.
Like, thank you to Fox. Thank you for being part of it. Thank you for just being, like, I didn't even know it was there. I saw it, and I ended up taking a picture and I sent it to Chase. I'm like, have you seen this?
Yeah.
And he's like, I heard about it, but, and it started this whole conversation about, we talked, you mentioned earlier, like marketing.
Yeah.
Is it marketing? No, that's organic.
Right.
That is somebody legitimately
That's
saying,
the best part, though. That's word of mouth.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, that
yeah.
is,
right.
Thank you for being part of it. And that is what I believe, is the difference.
Yeah. There's an amazing circus of children that just at various ages in the background. One of them just rode by, beautiful wheelie the entire time you're talking. It's perfect. Like, I couldn't, like, as a filmmaker, I couldn't sit here and be like, and somebody cue the wheelies.
Exactly.
Cue the wheelies. And then it literally just happened.
Right.
It was like the greatest thing I could ever seen from a marketing standpoint.
It was that thing we talked about yesterday where you're like in real life situations, you can't replicate it. Where you're like, that was a Hyundai Elantra with Longhorn hood,
Yeah.
Longhorn.
It was a Hyundai here in Birmingham, or in Pelham.
Right.
And it was they were Longhorn.
Yeah, like on the hood.
Yeah, horns mounted to the hood.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was definitely not a Fox Custom.
No, it was not. That guy might have thought it was a Fox custom vehicle.
Yeah.
He might live with a bunch of Fox T-shirts on that he airbrushed.
Right.
His cousin did.
It was pretty rad.
There
Judging
was
that guy,
a few years ago, there was one of the Alabama football players that had like a railroad tie, like as his front bumper. And I
Oh.
can't remember the exact story
Oh my
of it.
God.
Not now because they're getting paid big money now. The NIL deal is just pay me.
Oh, it's super legit.
Yeah.
What is so you've ridden around a bit. What is your favorite? So when we talk about like some of the customs you guys have done, I mean, there's a lot, right? Obviously that Shelby's pretty rad.
Yep.
But what is the one that stands out to you? Like, what's the one where you're like, when you see it? Because a lot of times, like when we have product that we get used to, you've worked with it so long, right? And you're used to it. It's not that you get numb. It's just that it's still exciting, but it's not like, oh my God, like it doesn't cause butterflies. But every once in a while, I'm sure there's a product or something that comes along that does cause that. What is your one that causes the butterflies? Past, present, or future doesn't matter, but what's the one?
To me, it's kind of funny because you're right. I mean, when you see hundreds of them at the plant, you see similar situations. It's going to have a similar wheel. It's going to have a similar shock. It's going to have similar. You see all the different variations. The thing to me, though, is a lot of it's about the performance,
Right.
Not just how it looks. Like you look at it and go, that really is a great looking vehicle. Like I've got that emotional, like that's my truck.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of custom paint. Actually,
We had a big guy named John Jackson.
yeah, I remember
Yeah,
That guy's the legit
he's
photographer
legit.
of custom paint.
So
If
we
you need
do,
a good automotive photographer, let me know. I can hook y'all up.
No, absolutely.
He's a
10%,
badass.
But
you
it's-
get 10%.
exactly. Yeah, we'll just take a nice little 12% cut. But
We
no,
are
seriously,
now
it's
tender.
the paint aspect of it is one of the coolest things. Like I'll walk through the plant sometimes, and you look and you're like, what is that color?
Right.
We've got matte fox orange. We've got like a lime green. I mean, there's no telling what you're going to see. And so from an appearance standpoint, it really looks good. But I'll tell you, like the shuttle trucks that we've got out here today. You've got the white Ram Badlander with the Fox logo on it.
Yep.
That, from a functional standpoint, is truly, it's a great looking vehicle. But I will tell you, for a Ram with 6-inch lift, 37-inch tires, 22-inch wheels, It's got Fox 2.5 coilover, Performance Elite. You know, it's got the high-speed compression, low-speed compression dials, all of that stuff. And I say that because that truck, from a ride quality and a performance standpoint, I believe actually rides better than a stock truck with just normal tires and stuff on it. So you take that out on the highway and you drive it and you're like it doesn't feel like you're in a lifted truck.
Oh, yeah,
it doesn't
for sure.
feel like you're in a performance
Sure.
truck. But you can literally take that thing anywhere and do anything with it. It's just a fun thing. So I think that's where I get excited is when you build something that not only looks amazing, but it delivers on the performance, ride quality, safety, and all of that. Because it's easy to make something go fast. When we talk, you think about it on a bike.
Yeah.
Like I can go downhill extremely fast. Can I stop? Can I corner? Can I hit a bump? Can I hit a jump? That's the pieces that really start to come in. And in the off-road community, it's the exact same thing. Yep. Do you want to go fast and hit, desert and whoops and stuff like that? Or do you want to be technical and climb and the rock side of it? So we're able to deliver on that. And I think that's one of the unique things that you look at the Fox acquisitions and the companies and how we do it. I mean,
Can you guys put out a piece of content? Like one of my favorite things to watch during UCI season, or downhill season, is and I know he's not there anymore, but like somebody would come in, Menard would come in, and they would have this discussion about suspension. And it was like this whole like series of videos you guys did, and he would be like, "Oh, just 2 tokens," and I forget the gentleman's name, but you're like 1 click, and it was like this perfect scenario. I would watch the same thing with vehicles. If the development of that, so I'm just saying, like, I think there's content there that you guys like. I would like to watch that. Do y'all have that? Do you have the same thing?
We do, and I think that's the piece. And you bring up a great point. When you start thinking about suspension, you think about like the Fox 36 on a mountain bike.
Right.
You've got high-speed compression, low-speed compression, high-speed rebound, low-speed rebound, air, volume spacers. We can get into tire pressure conversations, like the tire you're running, like what, think about that. Not very many people understand that.
Right.
Take it to the automotive side, and it's even more confusing
Good point.
when you
Touché.
start thinking about high-speed compression versus low-speed compression.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to think about high speed as the speed of the vehicle rather than the input speed on the shaft of the shock absorber. And so now you're getting into different things. Again, it's high speed versus technical, performance and everything else. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on where you're doing it at. And I think that's one of the things that if you really start thinking about what's next, where's it going? The Badlander, you've got to get out and you've got to turn the knobs. Yeah, you look at the Ford Raptor with the live valve, 3.0 suspension. It's constantly tuning, it's constantly adjusting, it's reading, it's doing all of its stuff internally. The question is, where do we go? What is next? What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? And to me, that's the cool part in how we get there. It's going to be,
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that's where you guys are and what you're doing. I think the fun, the joy of being able to see those pieces. I know. Oh God. Let me just cut back here.
Look over
Ladies and
here.
gentlemen, the Todd.
The Todd. No.
He's out of focus. He's on his new downhill bike. There's so much shenanigans happening. Is there
It's like trying to keep a bunch of caged animals
it
around
really-
us while
they
we're trying
just
to be
are really-
serious.
They're really just they're just going for it. Is there anything like takeaway wise? Like we talked about the Trail Trust, obviously with Andy. I
Yep.
think it's awesome what you guys are doing. I thought it was amazing that he said, "Well, anybody can apply for it." I think
Yep.
that's where the community really is. Is there any sort of side of that you think is more fascinating?
Whoa.
We're like literally in a noisy.
like
there's people riding by.
like war zone right now. What is happening around us?
The world is coming
This is
to
what
an end.
happened. The monkeys are taking over. This is
See, that's it. Also, you're more than invited to come ride with us sometime and
You
experience.
come down there and just see
come
what
down
we
there.
have. It's just different.
No, absolutely.
It's just different.
We actually we spend a lot of time down there. My brother-in-law lives in Pensacola. Sister-in-law
Yeah.
lives in Mobile.
Hit us up next time.
So yeah,
Stop by.
Yeah, absolutely. Come by and.
Is there anything? Are you a?
This
We
is
now
Chase.
have a
This is-
four-wheeler
now we have
entering
a
the
four-wheeler.
frame.
Let's just let it do its thing. Chase is like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
I'm done.
I'm ready to go home.
I gave Drew a beer. I'm done. I'm going home. He's just
When's
like,
it my turn? I think it's my turn.
So anyway, is there anything like shout out wise? Is there like follows, socials, any of that kind of stuff you want us to look at? Oh no.
Oh,
that's even
God.
more bizarre.
Now I'm like really concerned. What do
Yeah,
we,
there's.
Wow. It's so hard to focus.
Let's just get your socials so I can at least keep you presentable for the rest of the space because the monkeys are rioting.
it is getting a
We
little
gotta
interesting.
Yeah.
No, I would say, I mean, if you look at obviously the Fox side of it, it's at
Yep.
Fox, it's at Ride Fox Bike,
Yep.
Trail Trust for the community side of it. We have on the performance vehicle side, you've got Black Widow trucks, Rocky Ridge trucks, Tuscany, our partners at Shelby. I mean, that's where you're going to see a lot of the fun stuff that we do,
Yep.
and really kind of see the social and the community side of it as well.
Perfect. I think it would be advisable because of this chaos that you come back down and hang out. This is a great.
Yeah,
this
we
is a
could do a
live podcast.
very good
moment,
one.
right? This is as raw as it gets. And so thank you for hanging out with us. If so, we've got the plugs. We can get those in there. I'll get some B-roll. You guys are here tomorrow, yeah?
All weekend.
Okay, cool. I'll get some B-roll of that, and we'll tie it up. I don't even know what's happening now.
We just we
we'll tie
almost
it up.
lost Eric
Almost
to
lost
a
him.
yeah.
You can't see him. We're keeping him.
These
Keeping it
guys.
on this side.
I mean, this show has fallen apart so fast. Thanks for being on here as we fall apart with you. Yeah, you're good. You can be free. To
And we
enjoy
will
the
have
rest
somebody
of the
else set in the seat. And
Let's grab a random person. You're free to go.
Perfect.
You can take a chair with you if you'd
hey,
like.
thanks, dude.
I think it's funny
appreciate
if you
it,
take
seriously.
your chair.
Exactly. I'm
Yeah,
taking
take
my
it.
chair with me.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, it is a
Fox
nice chair.
It's an extremely nice chair. We're gonna put the media chair back in place.
Yeah, where's the media chair?
I think like my favorite piece of that whole thing is something that didn't happen, and it's Todd. The Todd has told me multiple times, like, man, if I would have known, I would have been a little bit closer on the bike. Like he literally was like, now he's like, how could I have disrupted it more?
Oh, my goodness.
And like he was upset. Like he's brought it up every single time, which I think is hilarious. And I think that's, if you know the Todd, then that is him. But it was,
And then he would have disrupted it and then apologized for disrupting it.
absolutely. He's really Canadian. Shout
So
out to
I'm-
our Canadian listeners, They're all 1%ers. You guys are the top 1%.
Yeah, the
appreciate
one Spiro that shout out Spiro lives up there. He came down here, worked at Airbus for a while.
That's right.
So he reached out about Todd, not the Todd, but Todd.
other Todd, yeah,
make sure
good.
he was good. So
Yeah.
that was nice of him.
Yeah, a little update on that too while we're talking about it. If you guys know, we had a rider. Did I talk about it with
I don't
Justina?
know.
I think we
Maybe.
did. Yeah,
Maybe
we had a
not.
rider go down in Bentonville. Other Todd, and it was pretty bad. Like we found out later on that I'll let him tell his story one day, but he more or less nearly died on the trail. Like had to be resuscitated. Like legit shit. He's recovering now. He's pretty good. There's pictures of him popping
Yeah.
up. He's talking and doing his thing. So just FYI, he's doing very well. So thank you for anybody that sent some, positive energy or thoughts or prayers, whatever you're into. We do appreciate that. And he's doing much better, but yeah, he's solid now.
He's still talking about aliens?
Oh yeah, they'll always be there.
Oh, yeah, he's on the alien. He saw him, maybe.
Well, he might have. Yeah, so this episode, relatively short or straightforward. It's actually not that short because by the time the interview's in there, it'll be fun. We're doing this in real time, folks. Is there anything else we need to push out there? Don't forget about the shirt. You can go pick it up, grab it, get it.
Get it, touch it, feel it.
Yeah.
And pick up
don't
your
forget
other
you can
ones.
win the waffle from it, all that
That's
good
right.
stuff. All you got to do is go to Facebook, search out the Ride the Rebellion Facebook group for the podcast and join that, and we'll let you in. It's an admin thing, but we let you in, and then there's 10 people, first come, first serve. So as soon as this drops, bloop, shirt's up. It's pretty
right.
dope.
It's
I actually
for
like
sure.
it a lot. I really want a sticker of it.
It's
pretty solid.
almost like a brand.
Yeah.
Like not just a riding shirt.
Yeah, now you can be part of the
You
Ride
can
the
wear this
Rebellion
out
cattle.
to the club. Yeah. This should be a brand. We should brand people that want to ride the rebellion.
Kevin Black, we would like for you to create a brand.
Oh,
Oof.
yeah.
I kind of want, that would be an interesting tattoo though, because it's so subtle. You could just
Yeah.
get a small one,
Mm-hmm.
just right below your belly button.
It'd be such a dick
Just
move.
be like, "Hey baby, are you ready to ride
Yeah.
the rebellion?"
Check it on out.
Yeah, it was like,
It's only downhill from here.
That's it. That's what I wish we had that text. Ride the Rebellion. It's only downhill from here. That's pretty good.
I know a guy.
I know a guy too.
But yeah, I think covered everything. I think we're good. Bump and Grind was awesome. I don't know that we can put, like he said, we can't tell all the stories. Shout out to the dudes that stayed with us because we had more fun being sober going to Walmart to get junk food.
God, I wish I had footage of that. Next time, I'm just going to film as much as I can.
We laughed so hard on the way there. Like, I was just giggling. I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And we were sober.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
It was one of those things where I don't think we ever really got super hammered. Nobody got inebriated. It wasn't about that. It was quite literally just unadulterated fun the entire time.
And I felt like we were so busy. Like, I never sat down. The media boys.
I was exhausted afterward.
The media boys tent was popping. Every time I show back up, there's different people there and hanging out and wanting to say hi, and that was really cool to meet all these people that listen. And
well, that was one of the things why I wanted to get, like, I wish we would have going forward we should have better thought. Like, I can take a French press and a kettle. I would have loved, even if it was hot outside, I would have drank a cup of coffee. I just needed one, so we can have Lucky Shot coffee right there. We can have Kevin Black giving ballpoint pen tattoos.
With a Sharpie tattoo.
Sharpie tattoo.
Henna.
That's not a bad idea. They go away eventually.
That'd be fun.
And then I think, but legitimately, it would be kind of fun. Like, if we could get somebody like Limit, if they would do that, I wanted to do it so we can give it away.
Right.
Like, hey, here's a bottle of water and Limit. Just try it. If you hate it, no big deal. But we find it really works because it does, at least for me. But it'd be kind of fun to do that stuff. So I know for a fact we'll be there next year. There's no doubt.
Right.
Hopefully we're filming again. Hopefully Chase is happy with what we've done and the Bump people and the whole group that saw themselves. If you haven't seen it,
yeah, next year's the 30th Bump and Grind.
Right.
So that's going to be a dirty 30 party.
Yeah, more cameras, more people.
We should probably just camp on site.
I know that's gonna be crazy.
I know it should be fun though.
Other Scott has a camper we can maybe sneak into.
We got ways.
He's got a 4-banger.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
So yeah, just shout out to Bump overall, all of Bump, the board, the volunteers, and everything, because you guys put together. I know the type of stuff that goes into an event like that, and having 400 plus entries to the race itself. That's a lot of minds, a lot of moving parts, and a lot of athletes that you've got to take. They're emotional, right? So you've got to take in all of their emotions and somehow come out unscathed. So shout out to a great event. I think it was really, really put on well.
Yeah, they crushed it. It was super fun. Again, totally worth the price of entry. Totally worth hanging out.
Yeah, just hanging
the
out.
whole thing was fun. Even if you don't want to race, it's worth just going to hang out because it was a full day of fun.
That's right.
So you could ride up and watch some cool enduro spots, like go to Blood Rock. That's a great spot for enduro. Go to Lightning, see some jumps or whatever. But then also knowing that like the Short XC is going to come up and then the kids race. I mean, there's just they've done such a good job of building events, and we got really lucky with the weather.
Yeah.
But again, if you have a chance, it's worth the
don't
price
come
of
for
entry.
one day. You've got to come for the whole weekend.
Right.
Like we went up Thursday night, and being there Thursday was great because we got there early Friday. We were part of the whole event. It wasn't like we were just there for a short time. So
and I think next year we've talked about it. We're going to confirm it all with Chase. But one of the things we talked about doing is having like a Ride the Rebellion party type vibe, where you come hang out and there's, whatever, food and drinks and just hanging out. But it's literally one of those things like we sit down, we're going to have the hot seat game where the podcast goes up and it's like speed dating. You get to run through and we just have conversations and meet as many people as possible. If we could do that, that would be amazing. So we're going to try and do some fun stuff to incorporate the community that we care about back into the community, because that's the whole purpose of the show is building on it. So we just want to keep it going.
That's absolutely right. We are community driven.
That's it.
We wouldn't be doing this for we just talking to microphones for ourselves.
No,
so
trust me.
We're doing it for the people.
Yeah, we're the people's champ. With that being said, just remember what Dale Boyd says.
Please don't spill your beer before a podcast starts. It ruins the whole day. Chair. He said, it's my ad. I'm the sponsor.